Guys, I think all of us are going to need like a coffee or a nice drink for this. Bungie and Destiny 2. I'm sure a lot of people who play this game have seen the news either via articles or other content creators, especially the people who center their channel around this particular game, that Bungie has or is going through mass layoffs in their department, either at the company as a whole or within the Destiny team itself. So let's talk about the layoff and then talk about Destiny 2 a little bit. My heart goes out to the developers. I do not like when people get laid off. I don't like seeing news of people getting fired, sacked, laid off, whatever it is. This is a very dark moment in the industry. We're seeing a number of companies doing this as well. And the thing that really harkens to Bungie a lot with this is that a lot of their players connect with the developers wholeheartedly because they connect with the game so much. Considering Bungie primarily has Destiny 2 as their game, it's a way of it's that level of community feedback and that love for the game. People enjoy the story, they enjoy the gameplay, they enjoy the sound effects, they enjoy what that game brings to them in theory. The game has so much wrong with it, with its aggressive microtransaction and business model, which at some point, and the question was, when was this going to bite them? And I would say this is where it's bit them, if not way earlier than this. The game has such a polar opinions in terms of what people perceive the game to be. And I said I'll talk about Destiny 2 a bit later, and I still will. That reflects onto Bungie as a whole. If their business model meant actually they have retained less customers because they disliked how they were getting treated by the company in terms of the type of content being delivered, how they were delivering it, the delays in their content, the amount of content getting delivered as well, they're not going to be happy customers. What is more damning as well is that Sony bought Bungie, and part of the package when they purchased the company was Sony gave Bungie like over $1 billion. Yes, $1 billion, not a million, over $1 billion to help with staff retention, so that they just go up and leave with because they have new overlords. So obviously there will be bonus packages, possible pay increases that came with that. But the thing is, that deal's all gone through. Sony owns Bungie. There's no question about it. And that wasn't that long ago either. So how can you have layoffs of mass staff in this company when you were literally given $1 billion, over $1 billion, to keep them on board? Where has that money gone? We also have that letter from the director where they're saying they're lacking resources. Where is it going? What's happening? What are you doing? How? Guys, if you look at game projects, especially the really expensive ones that publishers fund, they don't come to $1 billion, and even when they cost a couple of $100 million, they take like 6-7 years to get to that level. How have you run out over $1 billion in staff retention to pay them, to keep them on board in a couple of years, 2 years at best? What's happened? I do like this game, and one of the things that keeps me away from Bungie and Destiny at times is that business model. It's a very financially difficult game to keep up with. Not the content, financially difficult to keep up with. They obviously had this business model in mind, and will also mean it's the business model I have in mind with any other projects they may have, including their upcoming game Marathon, if that ever comes to light. Came into the foray with this business model, and it only ever just got more aggressive. Players don't like that. I'm always a person that will hearken to what a veteran player or player retention, and as opposed to a new player coming into the game new. The way Bungie treats their products, treats their game, affects all of that equally. It's not a case of people can't afford it, it's they refuse to spend that kind of money. Not to mention, they will remove content you have paid for. So this is not a good way to retain customers. It's not a good way to sell your product. I really hope the developers find something new quickly. But we are seeing this industry laying off staff, and hopefully if they can find something in their speciality, because otherwise those roles seem to be drying up. Hopefully not so fast. But fingers crossed something comes out of it well for the staff. But let's come to the players. Let's come to the game now. Destiny 2 also has suffered with the news that was reported about the layoff, that it has a 6-month delay from February 24, 2024 to the following June. That's a really big delay for the type of game it is. There's a few ways we need to look at how this delay affects things and the way this delay behaves itself. Someone's obviously calculated that with the staff they have laid off, they've lost 6 months worth of productivity. So that's a possible way of looking at it. Or they've given themselves 6 months delay internally so they don't have to faff around with new project launches coming so soon, because there's going to be a lot of backlash between the staffing and now the players. They're very good possibilities this delay is simply damage control, because I'm also the strong impression they're not using the 6 months to polish the game or add more content. They're going to release whatever state the final shape will be in June. So if we're going to have an incomplete experience, content being cut, bugs aside, just not a lot landing, and perhaps maybe not a good story because they've also got rid of their writing staff, that's going to be brutal, because we could possibly see Destiny dying before the expansion launches. We could possibly see the game die during or shortly after the expansion launches, and even if they break even on the expansion launch, they could die by the time they release the first piece of major patch content. So there is a chance the game will not see the end till the end of final shape. But let's talk about the end of the final shape. People have been questioning, even myself who may not be a hardcore player, what's after? Because usually when you end a major story, you end a whole franchise. Are we going to see a Destiny 3? Or is this Bungie's way of saying goodbye to Destiny after this? So there is higher up people have said Destiny will die, and it will die at least by the end of that expansion or even before it. I cannot see them being a new expansion after this. I cannot foresee a sequel after this, though I would love to see it. And the thing that I want to see in that sequel is still have that Destiny feel, that Destiny gameplay, that immersive story, that impactful story when it can deliver on that, those twists, and just more into that, but also actually have more gameplay. Don't shove your story and gameplay into these little areas of text. Have it in the game, have it explained, have that as playable gameplay. have a significantly less predatory monetization system. Just don't do that. You can make a good game. You just need to bring out more of that content at a regular basis without that severe monetization, because you are releasing chopped content and making people purchase it. You're just going to annoy people when you do that. So if you look at that kind of development hell, we're seeing it into Bungie in terms of how they want to center the patch content, the expansion content around a monetization system. There's definitely internal dispute how they wanted that, how aggressive one side wanted to be on one side, saying let's just make a good game and if people want to buy, they buy. Hopefully we see something positive that comes out of this for the game, for the players, because there's a lot of content creators that center their channel around this particular game and this type of genre, and seeing their videos quite heartbreaking. They love it to bits, they love the game, they do like the developers, the heart and soul that goes into it. So it really sucks. So we'll see how this transpires as time goes on. We'll see what happens in June when the expansion launches, all the news run up to it as well. I don't foresee myself pre-ordering the game because I can't support what they are doing right now. I can't support their layoff. They need to do something positive with their staff in order for me to be a customer. Till next video about Destiny 2, I guess. See you guys.